Apple's been in the news recently, not for leaks for their latest iPhone or the iMac Pro. Instead, they may be facing a class action lawsuit after confirming a long-time rumor. I still don't have an intro. KMTech here, and if you've ever used an iPhone, you're probably not liked by these people who left some pretty rude comments on one of my videos where I confessed that I'm a fan of Apple. But more importantly, you've probably also heard the rumors that the fruit-based company intentionally slows down their products to incentivize you to upgrade earlier. Heather Kelly broke the story for CNN Money on December 22nd, writing, "A year ago, some iPhone users reported sudden phone shutdowns, even though they had a significant charge remaining. Apple quietly released an update that slows down the phone when it's putting too much demand on the battery, preventing these sudden shutdowns." Sounds pretty inconvenient, but that's probably only affecting those who still have an iPhone 4, right? Actually, this feature was implemented in the iOS 11.2 update and will affect you if you have an iPhone 7 and or a 7 Plus. The confirmation from Apple is less of a, "Oh crap, you got us," and more of a, "Yeah, we've been doing this to phones for years." A valid and logical explanation hasn't stopped a lawsuit from Illinois filed December 22nd. Those suing are 5 unnamed iPhone users, ranging from the models of 7 to 5, stating that the phones were engineered to purposefully slow down or throttle down the performance speeds. 2 law students at the University of Southern California filed the suit as well, claiming that the same as the 5 original users who said, and I quote, "Apple breached the implied contracts it made with iPhone users by purposefully slowing down older iPhone models when new models come out, and by failing to properly disclose that at the time of that the parties entered into an agreement." All right, so basically what's happening is that if you have any model of iPhone that's not the new 8 or the 10, your phone with new firmware updates is experiencing throttling. So what Apple's been doing is they've been decreasing the performance in your phone so your iPhone basically doesn't overheat and have to restart. If you've been experiencing these issues, the CNN Money article has a few things mentioned that you can start doing to ensure that your iPhone is less likely to throttle. The first thing it recommends to do is to make sure that you're constantly updating your phone to the latest firmware, as those future installments are working to fix these problems. The next thing that's recommended is to clear out any unnecessary storage that you have taking up space on your iPhone. Finally, they recommend to turn off your location services for certain apps, as well as background app refresh data. Now, if you're still experiencing issues after following these 3 main rules, then the CNN Money article gives you the okay to go out and buy a new battery for about $80. What's interesting to note about the facts that were listed in the article is that the lithium-ion batteries used in an iPhone only last about 500 charge cycles until the battery's permanently at what's essentially 80%. So these batteries die out quick throughout the years. It's no surprise to everybody. They also state that your battery should always be at room temperature. Don't have it too cold or too hot, and make sure you have cases that accommodate for that room temperature. Here is where the big issue comes into play. In a bunch of reviews for the iPhone 8 and 10, a lot of people have been complaining that when they use the fast charging feature, their phone heats up. So technically, if you apply the battery heating logic to the throttle control problem, every single iPhone is basically prone to this throttle control. All of this raises the question, will Apple actually be sued? Personally, I think it's a 50-50 chance. I'm pretty sure that the throttling features are probably thrown into the terms and agreements that no one ever reads, so they probably have a good caveat there. That being said, I did a quick Google search to find out some of the craziest lawsuits that happened in 2016. A couple of them included that a mom and her son sued the SAT testing organization because there was a typo on the test. The other case is where a woman won a lawsuit because she was on her phone and she walked into a ladder. Personally, I don't have a problem if Apple decides to throttle basically every iPhone. I'm fine with whatever precautions they have to take. I think that this experience has taught Apple a valuable lesson of making sure that whenever they do controversial things to their phone, that they need to be much more transparent about it, especially if they want to avoid a potential class action lawsuit. But I want to know what you guys have to say. Leave a comment down below if you're someone who uses an iPhone and you've been experiencing these throttles. I want to know if you actually think Apple's going to get sued or what they should do in the future to make sure things like this don't happen. I'm sure you guys are going to have some very insightful, friendly, civil, and knowledgeable conversations down below. Everything else aside, that's been today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more tech-related content. Other than that, I'm KMTech and I will catch you in the next video. Bazinga!